In this country, beginning with Donald Trump, who have lied to the American people. And people have been betrayed.
The biggest threat to our republic is the current administration. We have a committee in Congress right now that they're focusing on something that happened 18 months ago. They're not focusing on the issues that are important to the people in Wyoming.
I'd be interested to know whether or not my opponent, Ms. Hageman, is willing to say here tonight that the election was not stolen. She knows it wasn't stolen.
We have serious questions about the 2020 election.
There are no serious questions about the 2020 election, just to get that on the record. This is a marquee race anyway, because Liz Cheney is from a famous political family, but she's also the vice chair of the January 6th committee. And I would say this is the #1 Trump vendetta race left on the calendar now that we're past Georgia.
Exactly. I mean, we're still a month and a half out from the actual primary here, but this race is really going to be a test of whether the January 6th committee and its work will resonate with voters. Now, Congresswoman Cheney has talked about her work for Wyoming, but it seems like the overarching issue here still is the work on January 6th and questions or the issues of the 2020 election. There is some old polling that shows Liz Cheney underwater, but there's still a lot of time left in this race.
A lot of time left. It was one of Trump's best states. The question is any of this breaking through, whether it's the trials about the insurrection, whether it's the January 6th committee hearings, the testimony from people who are loyal to Donald Trump, who are saying these damning things about him. The LA Times, quoting a voter out there, says it's time for change. Liz has taken on a kind of vendetta against Trump, and she's forgotten the things that are important today. That's one, a former Cheney voter. We were talking about this during the break. If you go to her campaign website, that has a little frequently asked questions. How do I change my party affiliation to register as a Republican so I can vote for Liz? That tells you that Cheney understands.
Republicans cannot both be loyal to Donald Trump and loyal to the Constitution. At this moment, and let me also say this to the little girls and to the young women who are watching tonight. These days, for the most part, men are running the world, and it is really not going. There's no question that what we saw happen on January 6th was clearly an attempt to delay the count of the electoral votes. Anybody who was there understands the violence that was involved. I'm frankly stunned that one of my opponents on the stage, who is a member of the Wyoming Bar, who has sworn an oath, as many of us on this stage have, to the Constitution, would be in a position where she is suggesting that somehow what happened on January 6th was justified, or that somehow what happened that day, that people have the right to ignore the rulings of the courts.